Hi everybody, Christina here, and I just wanted to update you guys on just some of the things that I've been working on lately. If you are aware of Phases of a Broken Sky, it's a story about werewolves, and for the first time, with all the books that I'm writing, I've actually decided to do something where stories will actually coincide with each other. So I'm creating a universe, and so Phases isn't connected to like sunrise, sunset, or colors of God's eyes or anything, or Super Kid or anything like that. But Phases is the first one that's going to exist in the universe. So Phases is part of the Cursed Moon series, and so I guess it's going to be like the Cursed Universe. And so I'm working on a vampire story, and one of the main characters that it focuses on is a vampire named Anubis. I guess that's not too much of a spoiler. I think it's gonna be called like Anubis, Queen of the Damned, or Queen of the Dead, or Undead, or just something like that. It's gonna have her name, but her name is Anubis, and the origin story of the vampires is gonna be so cool. It's gonna be so cool. It's gonna be something that's never been done before. You guys are really gonna dig it, and so I'm working on that. But at the same time, I'm also working on a story about mermaids. And so I think Cursed Blood will be the vampires series. I'm still kind of working these things out, and I think Cursed Waters, or some curse with water. If I can think of like another synonym or something, maybe, because that didn't like roll off the tongue. But it's gonna be a story about mermaids, and this mermaid story, it's not gonna be like a typical mermaid enchanted, oh lovely, everyone's singing in the sea. It's gonna have a lot of elements from like Hans Christian's like original Little Mermaid story, but it's more like, you know, mermaids, sirens that lead you to your death, but except these are gonna be like hardcore warriors, like the Atlantean people. Like you don't want to screw with these guys. Like, if you run into a mermaid, it might be the last thing you ever see. So, not like they're not like weird, like Cabin in the Woods mermaid man, but they're gonna still have, there's gonna be different types of mermaids, but they're still gonna be the, you know, majestic, beautiful creatures, but they're just gonna kick butt, and it's gonna be such an interesting story, I swear to you. And I've been getting myself ready. You know, I went back, watched some things from like Stranger Tides and, you know, Little Mermaid, and there's gonna be like references and stuff to that too. But I watched the entire series of Just Add Water, H2O, and I binge watched the crap out of that show. I don't know why I dug it so much, but I just really loved it. I mean, I really Zane and Ricky, which I could not believe, because Zane was just so obnoxious at first. I couldn't believe that I fell in love with him, and Ricky wanted to work out so bad. It's just, I don't know. I mean, it was still cheesy and a bunch of other stuff, but I just really love the show. And so, but anyway, that's not what my mermaids are like. But I was still just kind of interested to see how they did it, I guess, to get in my head about live action. Well, I always think about live action, or how these things can live besides just being in book form. My goal is always multiple franchises when I put something out. So I was just curious, and I got addicted. And it was just cool to see how many people are associated with that show too. I mean, a lot of people from the Vampire Diaries, the universe, really know each other, and also the guy from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., who's the Inhuman, you know, shoots lightning. I can't think of his name at the moment, but he was on that show. Just a lot of people that I knew, and I'm like, I didn't know you're Australian. Like, it's just really cool. But anyway, I'm excited to write these 3 different series, and I'm excited about when they all eventually intersect together. And you're probably thinking, what? Of course, vampires and werewolves, that makes sense, but what the heck does a mermaid have to do with any of it? And it'll just fit in like really beautifully when it all goes down. But I'm just thrilled and excited about it. One thing I will say that I think is pretty cool, been a big fan of the Vampire Diaries, been watching it, you know, ever since the premiere. I was not a Netflix jumper and binger. I was always there from the get-go. You've always had my ratings. CW. And I was thinking about the Little Mermaid. She's still the main mermaid. She does save the life of at the time of the main character, who she is her love interest. He at the time was a boy when it happened, but I was thinking about Eric and how dreamy he is with his blue eyes and his black hair, and I'm like, who would they have like play? And I just thought of a possibility of Ian Somerhalder, and I totally named him Ian in like reference and tribute. So the main character, main guy, character is Ian, and it's gonna be really interesting to see how characters like in the movie of The Little Mermaid are referenced to. Like, how will you reference Sebastian and Scully? And it's gonna be all, it's gonna all make perfect sense and be really, really cool. I was thinking of something like along the lines of Beastly, and I heard that they're doing a Little Mermaid movie. I was like, oh crap, I really wanted this to come out first and be the thing. But I'm excited about it, and I feel like I will have a huge positive response to it. And I think you guys are really going to dig it. Another thing that I'm working on right now is my very first book, Superficial, which is like a superhero whodunit. Basically, there's a reporter going undercover because she knows that this superhero that's appeared, a real superhero, it is in this community, and she traced it down to like this high school, and then she like narrows it down to these 5 group of kids. So one of them is a ghetto black girl that's loosely based on my sister Sabrina. She was really ghetto in high school, and she kind of toned it down, but she it still comes through. And then I have another character who is a jock who is just too gorgeous and perfect for it not to be him. And then there's his best friend who has like this Clark Kent Superman kind of complex, Peter Parker, Spider-Man, like it could totally be him too. And then it's possible it could even be this other girl who is a cheerleader, who seems sweet at first, but she's just kind of tough as nails and doesn't, take crap. And she's got her issues and stuff too. So they're all really interesting characters. And the other person is a very, very rich kind of gothic heiress. And so it's odd that these people are friends anyway. It's kind of like the Breakfast Club's whodunits, but of superhero-ness. And it's a really interesting and great story. It was my first book I wrote. I wrote it in 6 months, and now going back, I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to change things. So I feel like as I write more, everything gets tighter and more refined, just through experience, and I guess wisdom and knowing. I guess having more precise vision about things, and so there's just things about the story that need to be changed, and things that need to be rewritten, and just things about it that's out of date. Like there's like a Michael Phelps reference in there, and he's like retired now. So yeah, I wrote it right out of high school. Right, and I guess right out of my first semester of college, because I needed something to do when I couldn't afford to go back and finish out school, and I found my passion in writing. So that's what I'm working on right now. I just came back from Chicago, had a great time at C2E2. Great meeting, new people and getting acquainted, and I just had a great time, and it was a successful show for me. In more than one way, in more ways than one, I would rather say. And some things coming up I'm looking at. I really, really, really want to go to BookCon. I'm just trying to see how I can work it out. Even better, I'd love to go back to Book Expo America and BookCon. I just have to see if it's even a possibility. I'm really trying to work it out. But possibly I could be going back to Chicago very soon. I'd love to go to Motor City. If they have a space that's opened up, I'm on a waiting list. I'm gonna go to that. If anybody's watching can help me out, please help me out with that. I plan to go to JFAX. That's in Grand Rapids, Michigan, I think. Yeah, it's in Grand Rapids. I'm thinking about going to Rest City Book Con, and I love to go to some other book cons. Usually those things are like filled out and planned out a year in advance. I just haven't always been that kind of person. I'm always like the last minute kind of girl, so I'm trying to get better at that too. But to keep up to date with these things, check out, my website, hit the events page, or like me on Facebook, subscribe to the newsletter, and we'll make that information available as it comes out. So if you want to swing by and say hello, please come by and say hello to me in a booth. I love talking to people, and people who are fans too. That makes me feel really good. So I'm just so excited about this year. It's going to be a really busy year, but I just feel like this is a big breakout year when we got to do stuff and get stuff done. And I don't think a lot of stuff will happen in the fall just because of the nature of my job. And for those of you that don't know, I work for the Michigan GOP as a creative director. So it's election year, so I'm going to be busy. But I really want to go to New York Comic-Con, which I've said that for like the past 5 years. But I really do want to go this time, so I'll see if it's a possibility or just something in the fall, because I do want to. It would be great to release an advance reader copy of Superficial at BookCon if I go to BookCon, and then to put it out in the fall. And I'd like to be somewhere, or at least do something fairly big to have it out. And but if I do go to BookCon, I would like to have the Mermaid story and the Vampire story both done by the time I go to there. And I know I'm talking like a crazy person and wearing myself ragged, but I did write The Color of God's Eyes in 1 month. So it's possible. It's possible. So that's what I've been up to, guys. And I just want to keep you in the loop. And I'll talk to you guys later.